For over 100 years, this tree grove has stood. It was planted by man long ago and has grown ever since in this natural, beautiful state. It was done correctly, it was done right, and because of that, it has grown and lasted these many years. And here it still stands, and it will still stand for many more years to come. But not all trees that are planted by man survive. Some perish, some die, and some do not make it. That is why not all tree restorations are equal. Today, we will dive in to this topic. So like I said, today we're going to dive into that topic of tree restoration and those tree planting projects that you often see. You know, there's many organizations that are out there striving to restore forests, to replant more trees, and they're trying to do that to help nature, to help fight climate change and all these things. But is it really as good as people say? Is it really accomplishing their goals, and is it really helping the planet? Today I want to dive into that topic and just share a few thoughts of mine. So you've probably heard of many organizations that, say they're gonna go out, not even organizations, but individuals as well, that they're gonna go out and they're gonna plant trees, and they're gonna go out and they're gonna help the environment and do all these things. These big organizations, they're gonna plant millions, they're gonna plant billions of trees to help climate change and help with these things. But this is a very complicated topic. You may think at first like, oh, this is great, this is awesome, this is perfect, this is gonna help the environment in so many ways. But we need to take a deeper dive into this and really look at what's going on. So with these tree initiatives, a lot of times they're all about the numbers. They want those millions, they want those billions of trees to plastered across the headline, like, we're gonna plant this many and do these things. But there's several factors that people forget about when I feel like they support these projects. First of all, the thing that needs to be considered is, will these trees survive? Many times people plant the trees. I feel like I've seen it before, you've probably seen it before. People go out, they plant these trees, and then a couple years later, they're all dead, completely dead. It was completely unsuccessful, and nothing changed, nothing happened, nothing was improved. And that's just a waste of money, just a waste of resources. So I feel like there's just the hype about, oh, I'm planting trees, but the end goal doesn't really change. Nothing really changed, and no new trees grew, and it's like nothing even happened. And other things that need to be considered is it the right tree species? Oftentimes people will go plant a tree that's not native, and it ends up really not helping the environment, either because since it's not the right tree, it might become too invasive and take over everything and just destroy the natural ecosystem that was already there. It might use up resources that are already limited, like water. There's been cases of trees that were planted in South Africa. They were trying to restore the forest, to prevent sand dunes from spreading. Well, yes, the trees did come back, the trees were restored, but it ended up spreading like a weed. It ended up lowering the water table, which meant there was less water for the people that were there in those areas, and it just really hurt the local people and the environment. This whole area is a perfect example of tree planting that's gone wrong. All these trees here are, Russian olives, and if we look clear down there, if we look at these trees here, these are all Russian olives that are taking over. And if we look here, to this middle of this field, you can see one lone Russian thistle standing there. And if you would let this field unattended, if you wouldn't do anything to control them, this whole area would be completely overrun with these Russian olives. So I feel like the kind of my takeaway message, I've been thinking about this for several weeks, and I've seen other videos of people like, oh, I'm going to do a tree planting and all this stuff, is be careful. Because we, first of all, don't want to waste our money. We don't want to go plant a whole bunch of trees that just end up dying anyway. That helps nobody. We don't want to plant trees that will destroy natural ecosystems, that will cause natural forests and grasslands to be overrun and overtaken. We don't want to hurt those environments and hurt those animals and hurt those insects and hurt those plants more. We need to consider these things. We need to consider how it affects the people that are there. Is it really going to help them? Is it really going to benefit them in the long run? And so that these are things that need to be considered. And if it hurts the land, if it's not going to be successful, if it hurts people, we need to back off and reevaluate our efforts, because we want these trees to succeed. And if they're not going to succeed, they're not going to be helpful, then there's no point planting them. So, you want to go plant out trees? Plant a tree. It's good. It's beneficial. It beautifies the earth. But do it in a smart way that will truly be successful, that will truly help. Take care.